Hi everyone, Karen Curry Parker here, and I'm so excited to share with you on the Understanding Human Design podcast today our special guest, Jamie McComas. And Jamie is the creator in the quantum alignment system, which is an integrated system of using human design, emotional freedom techniques, subtle body therapies, and coaching as an integrated system that really supports you in getting back to the true essence of your human design. It's a powerful, fast-paced deconditioning process. Jamie is the person who has created our custom blended flower essences that we use in conjunction with the quantum alignment system. So she's gone through the chart and created custom blended flower essences that go along with every part of the chart. So she's got one for manifestors, projectors, reflectors, generators, your lines of your profile, your centers, the circuits, the channels, the gates, and all kinds of other stuff in conjunction with that. So we're going to have a really great conversation about human design, energy, and how you can understand yourself, clear your crud, if you will, out of your aura and get yourself back into harmony with who you really are. Hi, Jamie. Nice to have you here.
I am so happy to be here, and I'm proud of you for not slipping up and using an inappropriate word there.
So, yes,
Oh, it's coming. The pirates.
Jamie and I are pirates, and so we do occasionally kick back into our girl pirate roles. So
We'll be good today.
So, part of this pirate identity, though, comes from being renegades in the healing community, being renegades in the human design community. You and I, over the last, gosh, how long have we been doing this now? 4 or 5 years?
Yeah.
Has it been that long? How long has it been?
I think so.
Probably more than.
It might be a little longer because it was way back in healing by human design and
Yeah.
all kinds of things. Yeah.
From the very beginning that we met, we knew that there was an enormous amount of healing available with human design that promised to, and we really, I think, explored how could we use the promise of the chart as a map for what's possible? How could we use the promise of the chart and bring people into the fulfillment of the promise of the chart as quickly as possible? And immediately when we started talking, we knew that the first thing we had to do was to really start helping people decondition from the trauma of not being allowed in whatever way to be who they are. And that's when you sort of said, well, we've got to support people energetically as they go through this change. And you started creating these custom essences.
Mm-hmm.
So talk to me. I want to know, talk to me about what is a flower essence? Because I think people get those confused a lot with essential oils versus a flower essence. What is a flower essence and how does that work in conjunction with human design?
Yes. So flower essences are not essential oils. They actually have no smell to them or anything like that. What normally happens is you take, specific flower, or it could even be part of a bush or whatever it may be that is we're using. We put them in purified water in a crystal bowl and we sit them out in the sun, and they literally cook up in the sun, and the water captures the energetic imprint of the flower. So, and of course, so we're able more to address the energy level, the emotional level, and they're so gentle, but so powerful. And I love that it combines, the energy of the sun. You still have the crystal, imprint. I'm thinking of quartz as I was saying crystal, and I was trying not to fumble my words. But I always think of how a quartz crystal, right? It's the clear quartz, and it can kind of be used as the stone that enhances, or you can charge it to be anything that you want it to be. And so I love how just allowing the power of the sun to capture that essence and energy of the flower. And then as we put it in the water, and a lot of people do confuse them with homeopathy as well, and they're not that either. So they're not essential oils and they are not homeopathy. They're their own beautiful thing.
So, okay, so you have this essence that you capture in the water. But I do think, is it true, similar to how you use homeopathy, you actually dilute it, and the more you dilute it, the stronger it gets?
Yes. Yeah, so they're not like necessarily, you know, where you take them and succuss them, which is how they dose homeopathy. So you'll never find a,
Shake it up
yeah,
and
you like shake it, yeah, or beat it around, you know, a million times, flip it around. But what it happens is, so there's never a dosage, like as far as like a number dosage or milligrams or X's or M's or L's or any of that. But what I found is I would, you know, I create a, I don't know if you guys can see behind me, this is my magic shelf. And so what happens when I'm on my emotional waves? I'm emotionally defined in human design, and this is how I create. Um, but that being said, I found that the more, and I hadn't read into it, so I just found that the longer, like, my essences kind of set, and I would, you know, I preserve mine in alcohol. So like I would add more alcohol as the essences went down. They kept getting more powerful and powerful. So it's really neat how you can even watch them transform within themselves. And then I read, and I cannot remember the exact words, but it's like the more you dilute them, the more powerful they become. And it's amazing. It fascinates me.
So tell everybody how you use these in conjunction with human design and EFT too in the quantum
Yeah.
realm.
Yeah, I know. We use them with all kinds of things now. It keeps ever evolving and expanding. So I had started, at first I went to, I'll tell you my long story short. First I went to study homeopathy, but my ex-husband, one of the best things he ever did for me, besides giving me my child, was accidentally buy me a flower essence kit instead of a homeopathy kit. And I actually just let him sit here for like a year or two. So I was like, well, I just wasn't called to him. Like I wasn't not grateful, but I was like, anyway, then fast forward, and I was just really getting drawn to him and called to him. So I started looking into it more. And what I didn't know, though, at the time is that even though we were throwing ideas around, I didn't realize that Karen was literally putting together a whole system. And I knew we had something here because something was like, these are vibrational, you know, medicines per se. And I use that term. Sorry, I shouldn't have said the M word, but these, you know, remedies. Sorry, people. You know, these are vibrational remedies, and so much to me of the human design chart. And, you know, we vibrate at different frequencies, and these essences have different frequencies. So it's like, wow, like I bet they could probably really tie into the different parts of the human design chart. And for those of you who don't know, me and Karen are uber nerds too. So this is stuff we fantasize about and dream about in the middle of the night. So I didn't know she was putting together this whole thing as intricately as she was. I didn't trust anybody because I was just at a place in my life where I just did not trust people very well. So I did not trust many people, but I trust Karen with everything. So I sent her a message and I just said, hey, I'm just throwing a noodle because I'm a manifesting generator. I said, I'm just throwing a noodle, flower essences for the human design chart. Didn't hear anything. It was crickets swerving. I'm like, idea, but I guess not. And then all of a sudden I got the message back the one day, like, we need to talk. And I was like,
So I just want to show everybody this. Sorry, I was knocking things off my desk while I was grabbing this. But this is actually our quantum alignment system manual. I mean, it's a honking manual. And in this manual, we literally go through every single element of the chart. So we have in each element of the chart, we have the low expression, the high expression, what people who are hurting in their conditioning might say, how people might experience pain, not only in their physical reality, but in their spiritual reality, if they're not working with the highest element of whatever we're looking at. Let's say right now I have this open to the page for the manifester. Then we have assessment statements, things you can ask clients, like how to sort of suss out what their source of pain is. And then we use the emotional freedom techniques, which is a meridian-based acupressure system, the tapping. Everybody knows the tapping. We use the tapping to clear whatever has happened that's caused somebody to disconnect from the truth of who they are. The thing I'm wanting to sort of bring your awareness to is that this is a really big, hefty manual. When I mail it to Canada, which is kind of like sending it to Antarctica, you know, I have to sign away my firstborn and in conjunction, you know, with customs fees and everything. I mean, it's a big thing. Jamie went through and she created essences for about every page in this manual. So she's got like this entire sort of Rolodex of specific concoctions that she created to specifically address the energetic function of each of these archetypes contained within the chart. It's mind-blowing to me that you did this, but you basically, if you know, you were basically, as we were going through and creating these, you were basically sort of meditating on all of these plant parts, all of these plant essences. What should you put them in? How should you combine them together? I mean, it was not like, oh, I just put this together, woohoo. This was a process that took you about a year to get all of this together. So, and so in conjunction with just doing it with human design, you also, in your practice, you're doing readings and you give people, or you custom blend essences for people to help them specifically with their unique charts.
Right. Yeah. See, yes, I do. I have to bring the woo. I have to bring the clairaudient messages as well.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, but I do, because I mean, you know how it is. We all say we all have all the chart, and two people can have the exact same chart, and they don't express it the same. So, one of the options I have for people is that I will consult with them. I will go through their chart with them, figure out their I take my own assessment and kind of see I let the chart speak to me. I'm very big on that, and find where some pain points might be, and then of course I just I consult with them. If we're just doing a flower essence, I don't necessarily go into EFT and stuff like that. I'm just looking and listening, like what is it that they need? I'm tuning in. I'm a big time energy junkie. So I'm reading, I'm scanning, I'm listening. And, then usually I'll just kind of sit with it a little, and then I'll just go over to my shelf, and I do kind of go into this meditative state, and I'll let my hands move. I mean, sometimes, I'll hear like, oh, holly. So I'll pull down the holly bottle. Other times I'll just sit there and I just feel, I just have my hand out and I'm going through, and I just I let everything, I try to do my best to be a clear vessel and channel and let everything speak to me. And it's amazing though. I have to say, like, I'm always humbled and floored. I've done this for people and they're working with, doctors, or like naturopathic doctors and things like that. And they have literally taken my essences that I've created for them into their doctors who also do muscle testing and such. And they're like, how did you do that? Like, just by talking to you and looking at this chart, it's like they're always amazed that like I'll have whatever it is they need. So it's really cool to just kind of, when I have my own moments of feeling inadequate, or am I sure I'm doing the right thing? Like, I've never just not had it not match up, which I think is really cool.
Yeah, that's powerful. So why do you think that adding the essences to understanding the chart, working with the chart, is so important?
I feel like it's twofold, because one, the essences are so powerful on their own for like emotional clarity, awareness. I find sometimes that when I work with them, even if I'm not going by a chart, like I'm just I'm in my own funk or rut, or I'm not sure of something, if I can pick up on the baseline tone or energy of what it is and I have an essence for it, I'll, go get it out and use some. And usually I'll have an awareness come to mind. One thing I love about that is I feel that a lot of us, and I was afraid to heal. Oh my gosh, if you would have told me one more time I had to feel it to heal it, I wanted to like choke people and punch them, honestly. Because I was so... And I know, I'm so charming. But, I was in that space of like, I felt miserable so long. And at the time I was suffering with, or I was dancing with agoraphobia, terrible. I didn't want to feel anything else but just better. I didn't want another freaking healing crisis. I didn't want any of that. I just wanted to feel better. Mm-hmm. And of course, as we know, life does not always work that way. However, what I found with the essences and that I loved is when I worked with them, because they are gentle, yet they're powerful. Mm-hmm. So they can really help bring awarenesses. The other part, though, that I love about them is when we do use them specifically, in the quantum alignment system, and when we're going through the chart and we're going through these pain points, the EFT allows us to clear at like rapid speed, which I love. So yes, you may feel it, but as Karen can testified to, and those of you who probably sit in on master alignment programs that she's done or group coaching, you can be bawling your eyes out 1 minute, and then we go right into the next round and you're cracking up, smiling, and feeling 1,000 pounds lighter. So,
Really?
yeah, so I love that, because yes, you feel it, you heal it, but sometimes, stuff is really deep seated, and trauma, as we know, we can carry. I mean, we carry back, what do they prove it now? They've proven 14 generations back of ancestral DNA.
Right.
That, so you can only imagine the pain and suffering that we're carrying from our ancestors.
Right.
And sometimes we don't even know why. Like, why we're upset, why we're sad, why we have a fear, why. And it's a lot of times can be linked to past life issues. I mean, we even had that happen. Karen had a family member that said she was pregnant at the time, having a lot of anxiety. And Karen said, hey, look, I want you to meet with my niece. She might need some. We were doing it for, so we thought, a homeopathic consultation. And come to find out, it was, we did some EFT on a past life issue, or a past life and an issue around that. And it just like that. It was like, and I sent her out an essence, which brings into tying into why the essences as well, because they can really act, we call it like a poultice. They're really good at energetically kind of filling that gap, holding, it's like a support while everything, to me, I'm sorry, I'm a sensing person. I talk with my hands a lot. So I'm like seeing the energy roll through and I'm holding it. So this is what they do. I'm maestroing here. But it's acting to me, it's like that energetic brace as the energy picks up, as the healing continues, and I'm just going to say the bone gets stronger. It really helps hold in place there. And on the other side, they can be a lot of fun too. I mean, we have essences for everything. We have, of course, a favorite, Mama's Magic Mojo. Yes. But and I've even found that for me, and even going through my years worth of dedication and feeling things, apparently I was telling a story, I had to feel everything. So, but I found, being emotionally defined, I do have waves, and I would get stuck in them. And then I remember Karen say, create. And I was like, I'm tuned into the lower vibration of this gate or of this channel or of the circuitry. And now I'm in the space that, rather than feeling sorry for myself, which I admit I would, I was like, wait a minute, I have like a superpower right now that I'm able to tune in to this lower vibration of the energy and see just exactly what it is, feel exactly how it feels, as best I can. I know we're all different, but overall get that baseline feel of what this energy is and what it needs to, come back up into the higher expression. So that's what I've started doing. And like I say, there's my my proof of no, but
well, I think the other thing I have to share with our listeners, probably my favorite story about the essences, which is kind of a mixed favorite. So for 13 years, 13 very, very long years, I had a dog, a giant 100-pound dog who was a very high maintenance dog. We'll call it that. And this dog was a chow hound, like unparalleled, in addition to other things. Like this dog was so bad, I sent him away to boot camp to be trained, and they kept him an extra month, and they said, we can't get him to listen to us. So he was there for 2 whole months, and when they brought him back, they were like, sorry, we just weren't able to do anything with him. He just was, and he was so big, he would be, he was just like out of control. But really, he was only out of control because he loved food and bread, especially, and cookies and
herbs,
butter, but mostly bread. Like, he was a carb addict.
Yeah.
And there were several times towards the end of his life where he had pretty bad arthritis because he was a big dog. And Jamie cooked up all kinds of really great essences for him. He tore his ligaments in the back of his knees. And, he was just a wreck at the end. And I swear those essences kept him alive like 2 or 3 years longer than he probably should have been alive until he finally ate 2 2 giant tubs, literally this big, 2 giant tubs of chocolate chip cookies. And I think at that point his pancreas just said, that's it, we're done.
Yeah, enough sugar. I've had enough sugar.
Years. I kept going, my God, this dog was supposed to die at 8. That's what the book says.
Right.
He was,
Still kicking.
so Jamie kept him alive way longer.
Yeah, that's what I
Probably was
buy you
right.
as much time as I can with your pets, right?
But I think, as you said, we use those essences in the quantum alignment system because it does stabilize your mindset and your energy field. Because our natural inclination, when we make a change, and we go out into the world, and we sort of just shifted that change because we're so beautifully hardwired to protect ourselves and not have to overthink and overdo. Our natural inclination when we interact with the same old stimulus or the same old triggers is to default back to the old way of being. And I think those flower essences, because they do provide that, as you said, that energetic poultice, that base that sort of holds the change in place until it's stabilized and it starts to build into the neural pathways and into the physiology. They're so essential for keeping you really grounded in the shifts that you make in consciousness, and the shifts that you make in reframing trauma, and the shifts that you make in clearing those conditioned places where you've forgotten how precious you are, and you've forgotten your connection to those unique gifts that only you can bring to the world. So, I really feel so strongly that they offer an incomparable path to expediting and making your transformation faster, because you're not doing this back and forth thing, because they hold you in place so you can keep doing that growth and not sliding back. And I think they really, as you said, they really anchor you in the higher vibration of all the archetypes in the chart. So Jamie, how can people get in touch with you if they want to have you look at their chart and create a custom essence, or even get one of our human design quantum alignment system essences?
So you guys can find me. My website is potionlady.com, and I have a lot of things on there because I have a lot of essences. Like I say, I have some specific for the chart. I have some specific just to different topics. It could be depression, anxiety, stress, compassion, boundaries. We have them forever. Like these used to be, people would say, oh, I have an oil for that. Well, trust me, I have an essence for that, and probably 5, because I got to go deeper and deeper. But if you are a little overwhelmed, or you're not sure, where to go, where to start, because I also do offer, and this will be a whole other podcast, and my nerding out, I also have correlated like minerals with each gate. And also I do offer, like, if you find that you're more in a state of like physical as well as emotional, and just, you might feel like you're a hot mess because like everybody's given up on you type of deal. And I only say that because we've experienced this in my life. I've experienced this where, especially again with my ex-husband, my great teacher, where even Johns Hopkins gave up on him. They didn't even have a diagnosis for him. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to figure this out. So like if you feel like you're a worst case scenario, like, don't worry. We got a thing for that as well, where I incorporate minerals to address more of the physical body and cellular repair. For some of you, you might just want a reading. I can do that too. The coaching, if Karen's taught it, I've got a certificate in it. So we can figure out, but I offer a discovery session. You can just go up on the, I have a schedule your appointment. There's a option in my calendar for a free discovery session if you're just uncertain, or even if you just want an essence and you don't know which one you want. Like, just book a free session with me. We'll get on Zoom. We'll talk it over, figure out what's best for you, and we'll take it from there. And I'm also on Facebook at Potion Lady.
So awesome. So again, that website is potionlady.com. So go there, talk to Jamie, get your essence, and go explore. I mean, I will say that in the past, it's probably been more than 5 years. Jamie has sent me many amazing potions, if you will, that have been tremendously supportive, emotionally, physically. And like I said, she kept my dog alive. Do it. Call her.
Yeah, I do animals too. Like, so it doesn't matter. If it has energy, I'll help it as best I can. So,
Awesome. Awesome. So, Jamie, thank you for joining us
thank
today.
you. Thank you for having me.
I'm excited to hear what else you could, what's the next thing you cook up in the lab. And, I don't say this very often, but I really want to honor your contribution to the quantum alignment system because it is what it is because of you and what you've contributed. So, if you have not had the chance to check out the quantum alignment system and to check out all of our practitioners or come to our master alignment programs, or if you're studying human design, Jamie is the one that's there to answer all your questions during our forums. Jamie's there tapping along and, of course, diligently making essences in her lab. So
Thank you so much. I'm just honored and grateful.